Hi there, John Tyler's my name, and I'm going to show you how to flip houses and make a ton of money. You see the house behind me? I just flipped that, and I'm an old geezer. See, I'm even wearing my old guy shirt. So I've done it. Back in a few years ago, I used to, when I lived in Massachusetts, I now live in North Carolina, and you can flip a house and buy it right and flip it and make. What I made was I flipped two a year when I was a Remax agent in Massachusetts, and I made $75,000 a flip, and that's every 90 days. That's if you do it right. So some of the ingredients you're going to need to be able to flip houses are, first of all, you got to have decent credit. You don't need a lot of money because you can buy a house on your credit knowing that in 90 days from now, and the cost of interest for that 90 days, what that is, and then you want to figure out what your profit's going to be. For me, it's easy because I flipped a ton of houses, including this one, in March of 2021. Again, I'm old. If I'm old and I can do this work, then you should be able to, you young dudes with all the muscles and all that crap. All right, so pay attention. Now, here's a ranch that I bought in 2017 in Monroe, North Carolina. And I paid $132,000 for the house, simple ranch with a shed out back. But by the time I got done, as you can see, that's just my living room. I built that electric fireplace by myself into the wall, beautiful. Things that make the house flippable, resaleable. And remember this, when a buyer sees your house after you did your remodeling or renovations, it's all things that catch their eye. The things that catch their eye the most are your floors, your kitchen, your bathrooms, and paint. Simple stuff. That fireplace cost me a lousy $500 to put in that house. I bought it for $132. I had to replace the windows. I didn't do that myself. I hired that out, $3,800. So I spent maybe $40,000 on the house, and then I sold it just before I bought the one you just saw a minute ago. I sold it for $245,000. That's a decent flip, right? So I don't care how much you spend for the house. You just figure in your budget, you figure in your profit, you flip it, and you got to know in your head what you're going to do to fix it, which is after a home inspection, of course. Then you know really what you have to do. In this particular house behind me, the master bath was horrible. Somebody let the seal in the toilet leak. So that whole floor, well, not the whole floor, but from the main wall out underneath that toilet, underneath the sink and cabinet, was all rotted out. So I had to take the toilet out, take the sink out, left the bathtub in because that wasn't, there's no problem with that. And then I rebuilt that floor from the floor joists up at my age, yeah. And then I reinstalled a new toilet, elongated, and then I reinstalled a new cabinet. I think that was like $250. Whatever, that's part of the 40 grand I put into the house. It needed a new roof. I knew that when I moved in. Two front and rear door. So I replaced those myself. And hanging doors is cheap and it's very effective. But anyway, before I get too long-winded in this is the basics of flipping a house. You make it eye attractive to the buyer. Look at that living room. I mean, seriously, it's beautiful. I changed the floors. It was crappy looking carpet in there. And this type of floor is pretty cheap. Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever, they all install, and they install fairly cheap. So again, that was part of the 40 grand. So 132 and 40 is what? 172, flipped it, made 245. You do the math. Okay, be right back. And here's two. When I was in Massachusetts, just before I left for North Carolina, I flipped these two in the same year. This one here was at 25 Harvey Street in Norton, Massachusetts, and I made $75,000 on that house. And then the other one is on 29 Three Mile River Lane in Taunton, Massachusetts, and I made $75,000 on that one. So they're really easy to do, and you just have to assess what needs to be done. So let me show you how I did the one I'm currently in. So this is the house I bought that I now live in, and I'll be flipping this in a year from March. The reason is so I can keep all the capital gains. There's no tax if you keep the house for 2 years. So sometimes I've done that, and I'm doing that in this case here. But the house that you see over here was when I first bought it. It was for $214,500, and all brick, by the way. But I made the seller pay me after home inspection. I made the seller pay me back $4,500. So really, I spent $210. The house is now worth between $310 and $315, based on what I did plus market conditions. And you have to assess both. Where's the market going in that particular neighborhood that you buy in, and then what is the price of the house, and then secondly, and most importantly, is what do I need to do to fix it? So I had a home inspection, and as you can see on the front there was a handicap ramp, there was a white front door, all the windows had needed to be replaced, 22 of them, and that was about I think $4,700 maybe. Anyway, I spent close to 50 grand in this house to get it flippable, if you will. So I'm into it, let's say for $250, it's worth $315. How much money did I make already? 65 grand, you know, and I'm just sitting in here living large, rent-free. In fact, I'm in one of the rooms right now, which is I've converted into a YouTube studio. But anyway, the house over here, you see that over there, the shutters were red. Now, that's a bad thing with brick. You can't, it all looks like one piece. And the railings were red. So I painted them over here, black shutters, hung a flag out, put an 1102 house number on the front, because none of the houses on the street have house numbers, which makes it tough for a mailman, I suppose, or package deliveries. Anyway, so I decided I'm going to do the cosmetics on the front. I already knew what I had to do. The roof was fine, didn't have to replace it, which is good because that would have been 5 grand more. So on the inside, I'll show you what I did. Mainly, remember I told you, kitchens, bathrooms, and paint. And you'll see the difference in just a minute. The kitchen in the house that I'm now in, that I have already basically prepared to flip, the kitchen was so bad, that would be that photo right there. It was 10 feet wide by 11 feet long. And you come into well, you see where that window is? Right there, way down there. Then you look at this picture where I renovated the kitchen. See where the window is? Way down there is what I was trying to get at. That's the same window that you see here. So you can see that this first kitchen right here was a disaster. As soon as I walked in, the doors were like hanging off the cabinets. The countertop was, I don't know, melamine, plastic, whatever. So I already knew, first thing I got to do is gut this kitchen. I'll show you the gut work in just a second. But the kitchen was so bad that the MLS, Realtor.com, whatever, didn't even show it. So when I walked in and I looked at that, I said, whoa. So anyway, what I did was, as you can see, I took every cabinet door off. I painted every one of them white. You paint them white with a particular kind of paint that Benjamin Moore sells. It's called advanced white. It could be semi-gloss or gloss. It makes no difference. I chose semi-gloss. But you roll the stuff on with a roller or a paintbrush, and it just clears itself, just like it's one-piece brand new cabinets. I also knew I was going to have to pay about $2,700 to granite everything in that kitchen. Again, it was only 10 by 12. The one you see over here is now 11 or 12 by 23 feet long. They had a little dining area off that kitchen that you see over here, and to the left of it, a dining area with a kitchen table in it, and it was wasted space. So I opened I took that wall that you see right there on the left-hand side where the dishwasher is. That used to be where the new dishwasher is now. But the old one was like at an angle on an island. I said, that's stupid. People want a big, beautiful kitchen. It's what you can see. Every appliance in that kitchen, you can't even see them. But the sink, the dishwasher, there was a built-in 23 by 20 whatever pink oven, 1961. And then they had a range hood. Again, stupid stuff. So in your brain, you want that kitchen nice. So in my case, if you see down there, there's a brand new microwave oven that I put in there at my age. And then in the wall over there that you can see way down there, again, all the cabinets I kept. I just repainted the doors and repainted the hardware black. But the wall oven is 24 by 24 built in, and I put that in there too. The dishwasher is brand new that you can see over there, just to the left of that window. And then I extended the kitchen way down here where there used to be a doorway going into a laundry room. So I just extended that wall, and I used the cabinets from the left-hand side of that old kitchen. They are now up there to the left of the dishwasher, up in the overhead. So it came out pretty good, I think. I painted the kitchen yellow. See it over there in this view? And I also tiled the floor. That kitchen had a layover, like a vinyl linoleum or something. But when you start to gut the kitchen, you're wiping out the vinyl floor anyway. So the kitchen was probably the most expensive. I added all these cabinets over there you see to the right-hand side of that yellow wall underneath there. I added all those new from Lowe's. So that's what you got to, you just have to have the vision first of all. And then you have to have your good credit so you can go to the bank or Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever and buy stuff, put it in there. And in my case, I actually had the cash left over from a house I sold in Massachusetts, which I also flipped. So I had the cash to actually put this stuff together. So as you can see, the kitchen over there was when I first saw it, and I knew I had to move the vent. See where it says new AC vent? Well, it's a crawl space house. Anyway, the vent is underneath the cabinet door that you see right there. And it would be no good when I put in a tile floor. So I had to remove that down underneath the crawl space and just put a new vent into the floor upstairs. And you probably saw that in the new kitchen. But if you didn't, then go back and look at it. Anyway, as you can see, I did that myself. Rip demo is the most fun you'll ever have in a house. But I tore that thing apart with a skill saw, ripped the counter out, and then when I noticed underneath the sink there, as you can see right there, the wiring for the dishwasher and all that all had to be moved over to where the new dishwasher would go. And then the kitchen sink plumbing and all that stuff underneath the cabinets, it was all rotted. So that had to go. And then when I pulled that, and this is what you have to expect too, when you pull some of the stuff out, the subfloor or the plywood floor on top, you may have to replace, which I did, a little 3-foot section. So anyway, I'm just showing you this to show you that there is going to be work involved. But again, at my age, if I can do it, you should have no problem, right? And then every door you notice is missing there because I took them, put them in a different room, put a big tarp down, and I painted them, every one of them, with that Benjamin Moore Advanced White. Be right back. All right, so in this photo, I have 2 bathrooms in this house. One of them I just had to paint, so that was easy, and touch up the porcelain sink. But this bathroom here needed to have that cabinet that you see that I gutted removed, and then over right there you see the entrance of a shower. Okay, so I painted the bathroom that gray. I hung a wall cabinet up, that white cabinet to the left of the toilet. That's new. The shower, as you can see now, the thing is terrific. I cleaned the shower. I put a little push button light in the shower. And in fact, you can see up above the hairdryer, up above the light switch on the wall, I added, it's 1995 at Lowe's. And it's a round battery operated 4 C-cell batteries in it. And it has a remote control light switch. That's that white wall switch you see up above the regular light switch. So all these things add up to cosmetically a beautiful a new bathroom. That bathroom there, the old cabinet, of course, was an antique, 1961. So I tossed that into the trash. And then I added that brand new cabinet that you see right there from Lowe's for, I think it was two something for the top and the vanity. And it just slid right into place. You do the plumbing thing there and you're all set. Next was the living room. That was a biggie. All right, this long, beautiful living room. This is the view. You see the French doors there? That's going into the kitchen, the new kitchen now. But way, way down there on the right, below that window that's up in the wall, you'll notice that there's an indent. And it has a desk in there and some bookshelves and stuff like that. Nah, I didn't want that. I wanted to build a fireplace like I had in the living room that I flipped with the at that Myers Road house in North Carolina in 2017, because I like doing it. It's a cheap way to do things. And then I wanted to build put a 65-inch big screen above that. And that stuff I leave with the house. The fireplace, the big screen, people love it. And a big screen costs you 65-inch TV, RCA, for example, a smart TV, blah, 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 $4.99. So it's a cheap investment. Besides, on that wall that you now see right there, the new wall that I put in, it's flat all the way across there. So the desk and all that dead space is behind that wall. And when I opened that wall up over here in that picture, when I opened that back wall up, there was brick there because this happens to be an addition that they put on the house in 1961. Anyway, so as you notice now on this picture right here, that wall goes from the French doors right there straight across to the little window up in the wall there. Now, what I also did in that picture was, notice there's a window seat back there. Well, I took the doors out of that and I put wicker baskets in there. Just design stuff you think of in your own mind. And then all that brown trim that you see there and here, because I did the wall over, sheetrocked it, studded it off myself. I painted all the trim in there white. You'll see the end result in the next video or the next shot. I'm going to show you this picture right here, and then with the TV and the fireplace built in. Yeah, I know you're saying, you did that, you old fart? The answer is yes, I did. That flat wall that you see there is now in fact, I just took that picture 5 seconds ago, January 18th. because I didn't have a picture of what I had done. But I installed the fireplace that you buy from Lowe's. The whole mantle kit was like $210, and then the insert electric fireplace, you could just about see the flame there, but at nighttime or daytime, it's a beautiful flame. You just push a button on the fireplace there, and there's the flame, and push another button, heat comes out. That was $243 at I forget where I bought the thing, but you can look them up, electric fireplaces. So I installed that, and then I installed that 65-inch RCA TV like I had in my other house. So this whole wall cost me $500 for the fireplace, a couple of bucks for the sheetrock. I bought 2 of these shelves to put my Wi-Fi stuff on. That you can see way up there on top of the wall. Up there by the clock. And a little fancy doodad for flowers or whatever, and a violin thing on the left-hand side of the mantle. And notice the trim is all painted white around the window, the doors, the moldings up above, the moldings around the French door over there, leading into the beautiful new kitchen. So that whole wall was $500 for the fireplace and $500 for the TV. So $1,000, you got a brand new, beautiful living room. Let me show you the long view of that room. So here you can see the old living room with the brown trim and all that stuff, and the desk indented in there and the bookshelves, and the new living room over here with the furniture installed. I didn't change the floors at all because they were fine, but notice the door over there is brown and all the trim is brown, and over here it's above my head, it's all white trim. Fireplace is there, the big screen is there, all the window trim is painted white, and then in that bench seat that you see over there underneath the 2 windows, you see it over here. I'm disoriented. I put the wicker baskets in, painted that white, took the doors off like I told you earlier. So all in all, it's all cosmetic stuff that people are going to come into the room and say, geez, that's really great. And by the way, the walls over here were off-white, whatever, and now over here, they're a nice gray that I got from Lowe's. Now again, paint is cheap. I bought the best paints, $50 a gallon, but 1 coat and it goes on. I'll show you another quick room and then we can wrap this thing up. I lied, I'm going to show you a couple more pictures, but this was the bedroom that I walked into with the crappy floors. I had somebody come in and sand all the oak floors down to make them look like brand spanking new. Painted the trim in there all white. As you can see over here, it was a dump. There's a little bathroom right there, master bath that you already saw that I changed the vanity in. And then you go from, I love seeing houses like this because I already know what I'm going to do. So junk furniture in there. Of course, I made the seller move all this crap out of there. And then I put the bedroom furniture in there and pictures up and the mirror up and the bureau and all that kind of stuff. So when you do it right, it looks like people want to walk into a room that they can say, oh, gee, this is beautiful. I want to make my room like this. So there's the master bedroom right here with the bath. Same bath there is over. I'll get it right over there now. Next room is the room I'm in now. It used to be a 4th bedroom. By the way, this house has a garage, big 2-car garage with a workshop out back. So it had all the potential of being a flip. So this room over here, I painted green, a beautiful forest green, and now it's my studio. As you can see, I got my little lights going on, my computer, and the 2 windows over there are the same 2 windows up above my head. And the closets way down the back there are painted white. They're still 2 closets. So when I convert, it's still going to be a 4-bedroom house. But again, right now I'm using it as the studio that I'm talking to you in right now. Cool. And when people see the house when I go to sell it, they're going to like the idea of the studio. I won't remove anything at all while I'm showing it. So before I get to the nuts and bolts of how to flip and what you need to do to flip, I'm showing you the outside of the house. This is the old house. It had a gas meter there. It had an old HVAC unit there, 1961, which was just air conditioning unit. And then trash cans and whatever was hanging around. You'll also notice in this picture right here, all the crawl space vents, they're tan. Well, on this photo, I changed them all to new black ones. The only one I didn't change was, see if I can point right, was that one underneath the circuit breaker panel outside, because it's just been there and it's not actually a vent. But I changed them to the black vents, and the black vents have bimetallic, they're $20 a piece, but bimetallic strips that in the winter I don't have to go outside and close vents and open vents and all that stuff, because the bimetallic strip, once it's above between 40 and 70 degrees, they open gradually, you know, up to 70 degrees they stay open. And then as the winter sets in, they close. They close up tight, like if it's 30, 40 degrees, which it is right now in this area of North Carolina. The HVAC unit, though, that you see here, first of all, I had the gas meter ripped out. It used to have a gas furnace, and the thing was dilapidated, rusty. Yeah, so as soon as I looked under the crawl space, when I bought the place, I knew I'd have to replace the HVAC unit, and I did that with an electric heat pump right here. Now, the tenant that was here before with that crappy heating system, and the ductwork was all like tin, and 3 of them were on the ground in the crawl space, which makes sense, right? So his electric bill was $500 a month. A month. Well, I wasn't going to pay that. So right now with that new HVAC unit, heat, electric, air conditioning, everything's electric. The dryer's electric. All the lighting in the house, everything is electric. And I pay roughly $240 a month on average. So that's saving me a ton of money having that new system put in. That costs $14,500. So hopefully you don't have to go to those extremes, but that's within my $50,000 budget that I spent cosmetically fixing this house. But some things you need. The windows, again, I think it was $3,800 to $4,700. I can't remember. And this was $14,500. And all the other cosmetic stuff added up to the 50 grand. Now, let me go back to showing you what you need to do to be a flipper. All right, so you've seen that you've got to have a little bit of work ethic with your hands. You've got to be somewhat talented to be able to do things. I put the tile floor in myself in the kitchen, and you've got to be able to do stuff yourself. So the strategy is, I've written it here behind me, is to have a good credit. You have to have, I'd say, a FICO score of 700 or more. 699 is called fair credit, and you might get by with that, paying a higher interest rate on the money you borrow. A score of 700 falls into the good category. So you go from fair to good. And then it goes from 700 to 8 something, 850, 820, I don't know. Highest I ever hit was 808. Excuse me. You need to have ambition. Again, I'm an old fart, and I have ambition still, thank the good Lord. So you have to have the ambition, which means the drive to go about the task of finding a flip and doing the work and flipping it and taking the check. You need to be a risk taker. I've always been a risk taker, and I've made a ton of money. I can't tell you how much, but in the millions. You need some capital. You don't need to say, oh, geez, I need $300,000 to buy a house. All you need is, like I said, good credit. You go to a bank, you say, look, I own my own home. I have $70,000 worth of equity in it. I'd like to borrow 10 to put down on this house. I plan to flip it. Here's my plan. You can do things like that. My credit was really good. So when I went to a bank, even in Massachusetts, I just say, I need 50 grand, and they'd give it to me. Or I want to go buy this house. And I had 3 houses at one time that I owned. One to live in, one to rent, and another one to rent. So you can do it. So you need some capital. Again, you can use credit cards if you find one with a 0 interest for the next, and I found 2 of them, 0 interest for the next 23 months or 12 months. Take it. 0 interest. You can't beat that. That's better than a bank. So you can get your money capital that way. You need a strategy. Okay, what do I want to buy? How much do I want to spend? And I need a plan for what I'm going to do when I find the house, which is get a home inspection first. You pay for it, $350, what, $400, whatever. That's your roadmap to success. The home inspector knows more than you do. He knows more than I do. Although, I used to be a RE/MAX real estate agent too. So I've seen hundreds of houses. So I knew what to expect. But I still always want the home inspection report so that when I'm done with my flip, I can say, okay, all of those are checked off except this little, that plug wasn't right or whatever. You need to have vision, not meaning you can see, but a vision. You've got to see the whole thing done in your head. I don't know if it's a gift or what, but you've got to see the whole thing done. I use a little thing called Adobe Photoshop where I took my living room wall with the indented desk and that type of stuff, and then I drew in Photoshop what I wanted to have done with the fireplace, with the big screen TV. I drew it all out first. That's my vision, and then I did it. Same with the kitchen. I laid out a floor plan of how I wanted to remodel, and then I did it. Okay. You need to have a budget. I have a spreadsheet budget that I use for flipping houses. So you can get them for free. I think it's openoffice.org. You download a budget. It's a spreadsheet. You don't have to. You can do it on, pencil and paper. But you need to have a budget. Cost of the house. You won't have to pay a realtor. That's why I'm coming up to a buyer's agent in a second. You grab the best real estate agent you can find who's going to be your buyer agent. They represent you, not the seller. The reason you want a buyer's agent when you're buying a house, when you're selling it, you could sell it yourself. For sale by owner, a yard sign, a website, whatever, which I used to do that too. That saves you paying a commission on the selling end. But the buying end, the seller always pays the commission. So you're getting a free realtor. Use their talent. You need that budget, as I say, cost of house, no cost for realtor. I got to put an HVAC unit. I got to do some plumbing. That's $1,600. I want to do this. I want to add the fireplace. That's $500 for the insert and the wood from Lowe's, the mantle. You just put it all down in a budget. Then at the bottom end, you're going to find out, okay, it cost me $214 minus in my case, minus the $4,500 the guy gave me back, so $210. I spent $50, $50,000, that was my budget. So I'm into it for $260. Then your flip side, if you sit on it or You just figure out what the real estate market is going to be in 3 months or however long it's going to take you to do the work. And then you figure, there's your profit right there. In my case, it's 65 grand. You need to have, as I say, the buyer's agent and then a plan. Lay out the plan before you buy. That's sort of like vision too. So if you put all those ingredients together, you get no problem to flip a house. It doesn't matter the price of the house. A lot of people say, well, I want to buy, like down in North Carolina, you can buy a house for 50 grand. Alabama, 50 grand. But it doesn't matter if you spend 200 like I just did and you're making back 315 and you're spending 50, that's good. That's 65 grand. It's the same money I would make on the small house at Harvey Street in Norton, Massachusetts that I made 75 grand on. So, and it takes about the same amount of time to fix stuff up and get it ready to flip. So that's my advice. If you got any comments, put them in the comments section here on YouTube. And good luck selling, good luck buying, good luck flipping. If you need some ideas, whatever, post them in the remarks column and I'll get back to you. This is what I do. I'm a teacher. I'm a doer. See you later.